back to Brow Education. I'm your host, Megs, and I have Elaine here with me. She is a massage therapist, and I'm gonna let her give a little intro to and about herself.
So, my name is Elaine. I am a certified massage therapist. I have been a massage therapist for 14 and a half years now, which is crazy to me. Time goes by
No
so fast.
kidding.
I originally got into massage as a way to help pay for me to go back to school. So, I'd always been interested in the body, how it worked, helping people recover from injuries and things like that. And then I found myself married and wanting to finish my degree in social work. And so after an 8 year hiatus from college, I was like, okay, I've seen commercials about being a massage therapist. I'm going to go do that because like it touches like a little bit of what I've enjoyed doing my whole life. But then after I finish that, I'm going to go back to school, finish my degree. And, this will just be a way to earn some money because I was working as a paralegal and I wanted to stop doing that. So I went to school. Yeah. Oh my gosh, so horrible. So I go to school and I'm like, oh yeah, this is really interesting. I'm liking it. And then we got to the kinesiology portion, which is origin and insertion of muscles, how they move, how they work. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like this is what I want to be doing. I don't want to go back to school to become a social worker. Like this is my passion. It just totally ignited something in me. And it's like, all
Love
right, this is what I'm doing. Like I'm going to be a massage therapist now. And I haven't looked back since. Took a little bit of break when we moved to Chico because I was in a new area and my kids were really little. So I felt I couldn't really start from the ground up. But gave it a few years, jump back in it, and I love it. Truly
I
enjoy
love
what I do.
that. I love that so
Yeah.
much. I feel like there is a lot of us in the service industry that really come from like such a passionate standpoint. And it's so funny. I wanted to do dental assisting before I got into aesthetics. So that was my original path and it didn't work out. I was like, well, I've heard of this. I should try it. So it's funny that we both were like, this is where I'm going. I'm not doing anything else. And you're like, wait, this is way better.
Yeah, and I mean, it was something that like literally caught me by surprise. I wasn't expecting to love it as much as I did. Like I knew I would like it, but I didn't know it would just like this fire in me would come alive and be like, this is what we're doing. It get me so jazzed and excited.
Yes. Absolutely, absolutely. No, and I think as somebody who knows you personally as a client and then also as your client, I can tell that the passion like translates well. I feel like I
Oh,
think
thank
most of
you.
us who have experienced service providers, we know when somebody's kind of like not in it for the right reasons or like
Yeah,
maybe their
totally.
headspace just isn't there. But I can definitely tell that's not the case for you,
Thank you.
which I love. I kind of want to talk to you a little bit because I think massage therapy is also something that's similar to like aesthetics. There's a lot of different avenues that you can kind of go and different
Mhm.
branches. So I kind of want to just talk about like what your specialty is and kind of how you approach the treatment space and your practice in particular.
Yeah, so I really like working with individuals that are um we can call them our weekend warriors, where like they're participating in races or competitions of some sort, injury recovery, and people that have repetitive movements in their daily life, like service providers. I actually have quite a few clients that are estheticians and hairdressers because your bodies need it. So
Yes.
I those are the clientele I really like to focus on my work with is people that have specific issues that we need to go through and work through them, bring those muscles down, put some active release techniques into our sessions to really get them to perform better, be it in their competition that they're doing or in their daily life as a service provider.
What do you feel like? Are you seeing the same kind of troublesome issues with somebody who's doing just weekend stuff versus like a day to day? Because I feel like it would be so different. Like, I guess you're training for like marathons or something as an example, but like, because I feel like the service industry is such its own, hairdressers and estheticians and everything is like its own breed. So
Totally.
like, I feel
Yeah.
like I get how they're on the same schedule, but are like the same side, but also a little bit different, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, your weekend warriors, they tend to be, they're the ones that really just on the weekend, they go out and hit it hard, be it in their garden, because that's active work. Like some
Good
of our
point.
day-to-day activities, people really don't realize like you're being physical, you're moving your body. You need to take care of your body after you go and
Absolutely.
hit it hard in your garden or after you go and run 10 miles. Like you need to take care of your body. It needs time to recover.
Absolutely. I think that's funny because I don't feel like I ever paid much attention to it until I was in my industry. And then I was like, oh, this is broken and like I have to work. Like, I don't think you realize how much it affects your body until you run into that pinch and you're like, oh shit, what do I do
Yeah.
now?
Oh my gosh, it's so true. I was actually talking with a client the other day. They own a local, I'm trying to think how to phrase it. They own a they own a local garden shop. And so they're into season, they're prepping soil and planting and things like that. And they're like, oh,
Oh,
my
yeah.
arm's been bothering me. And it's like, are you stretching before you work? And she's like, oh, I'd never thought of that before. I'm like,
Right.
you have to. I'm like, you're doing heavy lifting during your workday. I was like, and you're doing like repetitive movements because we're pouring and we're mixing and we're doing all these things. I was like, your body needs to be stretched and like literally warmed up before you go to work so that you're not
Such a
hurting
good
yourself
point.
or, going down that path of leading to injuries because we didn't think to take care of ourselves before we started our workday. And I mean, that's something I forget too. Like I'll be massaging a client and I'm like, oh, did I stretch before I came into the room? I don't think I did. Here, let me do this stroke, but I'm also going to turn my body in a certain way that I can feel like a stretch as I'm moving.
Absolutely. No, you're just saying that, and I was like, I don't ever stretch like before work. The first time I even thought to stretch during work was when with your recommendation, like stretching between clients because we're so like hunched over. We call it like a little shrimp posture.
We totally, I mean, we always do. Like we start with the best intentions, and then just as time like goes on, we're starting to hunch more. Like I've even noticed if I've had a long day massaging clients that like my body mechanics start breaking down. And if I go
Yes.
home sore at the end of a long day, I know personally I wasn't being mindful of how my body was while I was working on clients.
That's such a great point. I've noticed that. I'll start my day like very good posture and then slowly the work takes over and I'm like so hyper focused that I'm just like hunched over so poorly by the end of the day. I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
we're not paying
You're like, why
attention
does that
anymore. And then like
hurt?
everything speeds up, like your day gets going and you just like you're going through your emotions and not focused on it. And then at the end of the day, like it just hits you and you're like, oh, I'm sore.
Yeah. Oh, totally. And then too, I think as service providers, like between our clients, we're trying to eat, we're trying to drink, we're trying to go to the bathroom, we're trying to do like all these little things and get our tables
Hmm.
or our room turned over and get ready. So like sometimes it like slips our mind of like, oh, let me
Yeah.
stretch between my clients as I do everything else I need to try and do to get ready.
Yeah. Well, and you were talking about how long you've been in the industry, and I've been in for almost 9 years. And I just think the other thing that we forget is how physical it is. Like, I don't, like, you're
Yes.
so far removed from a typical 9 to 5 job that you forget that you're actually moving and kind of doing all these crazy, weird motions throughout the day. When most, I mean, of course, sitting in a chair working like a 9 to 5 computer job is not great for your body either, but
Right.
we are a little bit more moving in weirder ways.
Yeah, and I mean, and I feel it's a workout too, especially for me. I remember when I
Yeah.
was
Oh, absolutely.
pregnant, my doctor was like, "Well, what are you doing for exercise?" I was like, "I'm a massage therapist. Like, I'm lifting joints because I used to do a lot of stretching, and so I'm like, I'm lifting body parts." And I don't think he totally bought it. And I'm like, "Dude, you need to be in a session. I'm not doing like this little fluff and rub with my clients. Like, I'm." Putting my body weight into it, and so yeah,
Yeah.
it's a total workout.
Yeah, and like that's like another level of massage. There's like kind of the relaxation, just going in for
Mhm.
like a pamper session, and then there's like body work, which is I feel like
Yeah.
more your level where you're actually we have a goal that we're trying to
Yes,
accomplish. And I
exactly.
remember the first few times I would come home and I'd see my husband afterwards. He's like, "What is going on? Why are you sore? Like, didn't you go get a massage? Like, why are you coming back? Like, ugh." And I'm like, it'll be better. And it's like it just takes a moment.
I know it's so funny. There's a couple of things I tell my clients, especially if they're coming in for the first time and we've like decided what their goal is, what their long-term goal is, and we create that plan of care. I'm like, okay, you're gonna be sore. But I tell all my clients, you're gonna hate me for a day, maybe two, and then I'm gonna be like your best friend forever because like you're gonna feel so good and you're gonna notice, oh, it
Such a
doesn't hurt when I move. I can move more freely. And I've
I can
had clients
move.
who yeah, No, it's so true. Like our bodies are amazing. Like they're so amazing. They adapt for us when they need to, but in their
Mhm.
adapting and compensating for like, sore body parts, it's like throwing our kinetic chain out of whack. So yeah, it's gonna take the pain off of our
Yeah.
shoulder, but now like, we're gonna shift our back so we're not feeling it as much. And so like now we're tweaked a little bit. So it's like let's straighten up that
Yeah, you
kinetic
get so
chain.
comfortable in your, like, discomfort. You're like, "I'm so
Yes,
comfortable in whatever
yes.
position that I'm compensating in, that it almost feels wrong to be in the right alignment."
No, that's so true. It is because it is. Your body just is like, all right, let's shift it. Because it's like that ancient times, right? Like caveman, like where they had to survive. So their body like adapted and adjusted.
Yeah.
So it's in us to be like, all right, we got to survive. We got to keep going. We're going to
Muscle
shift.
through. That is so funny. Oh, it's so true. So, is there anything, like, in particular that in our industry you see in, like, injury-wise or zone-wise that you tend to have to focus on the most?
A lot of, it's split. It's like the lower
Okay.
back or the upper back.
Yeah.
The middle back sometimes like tends to be like, no one feels anything there. But it's like it just gets skipped over. But it's like
Yeah.
that lower back because like if we're sitting, like I sit in a stool sometimes, like when I work down my client's neck. Like if we're sitting, because like if we're sitting lazy at the end of our day, like our pelvis is tilting, and so we got to kind of fix it a little bit so we get those muscles where they need to be, and then just that upper body too, because we're doing repetitive movements, be it massage strokes that we're using, or when we're threading eyebrows, we're using our arms a lot. And I think sometimes we don't truly realize how much we're using our arms, or how we're sitting. Like, are we sitting crooked when we're sitting in our stool, or just what our body is doing? Because again, like in that moment, if we are uncomfortable, like we're compensating for that
Yeah.
discomfort, and so we can keep going through our day.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of, like, at least with threading in particular, I think it feels like it's not that big of a deal because it's just a short appointment, and you're like, "I'm only
Yes.
like this for a little bit," but then if you compile it, I'm actually like that for 6 hours, 6 to 7 hours of the day, even though there's small little increments.
Yes. I mean, and then too, like I have clients that, sit at a desk all day. And so we talk about, if you've come in, we talk about these pec muscles that get overlooked. But we're like in this generation, if you sit at a desk, these pec muscles are shortened. They want to be open and elongated. On our cell phones, we're on our tablets. And so we think, oh, it's just I'm not sitting at my desk for very long, or I'm not on my phone for very long. But really, like we are. You got to take a break. You got to get
Well, and
away.
I think yeah, but I think our arms are such an extension of just how we do everything that we don't think about it in the traditional, like, sitting down on my phone, I'm not really thinking that my muscles are being activated. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like, you're thinking that you're just relaxing and resting there. But if you're somebody who's using them so regularly, like, my hands and wrists get so sore that even that motion can be a lot at the end of the day.
Yeah, totally.
I love it. So what would be, like, a good recommendation, or maybe just, like, stretches that you would recommend, or good recommendations for us in the industry, and then maybe, like, stretches or activities that we could do that would be beneficial to kind of our upper back and lower back, like you were saying.
So definitely like stretching our fingers, like doing like little up and down exercises and going in, um, like bringing our palms together and like really like squeezing them together and then relaxing, because that's gonna help stretch your wrist, and it goes like all the way up your
It
arm.
does. More than you would think.
Yeah. So that's a good one to do. And of course, like I call it like the PE stretch that I feel we all used to do. Maybe not, because I think I'm significantly older than you. But like you bring your arm back and like you're bringing across, because we're gonna stretch those triceps. That's always, I like doing that one. Like when I'm walking to the bathroom to wash my hands between clients, I
Oh
can
my
start
god,
doing that.
so smart.
I stretch everywhere. I stretch while I'm pumping gas. No lie. Like I'm sure the
I
person that's
love
waiting
that.
behind me at Costco is like, what is she doing? Like that is very weird.
Being
I'm always
smart,
stretching.
guys, that's what she's doing.
um, and like another good one is a lateral stretch. So you can be sitting or standing and just taking your arm and like just leaning to the side. And again, it's just like gonna open up your whole, like your oblique area. Feels so
Mhm.
good. And then one I like to do, especially if I'm having a stressful day, is to give myself a hug. So you just wrap your
I
arms
love
around, making sure like we're not
double whammy.
slouchy, but like the yes, exactly. Like being sitting upright and just trying to grab like around your shoulder blades and just squeezing, and it feels so good. And it's like a good way, just like, oh gosh, this is a crazy day. I just need to like
Yeah.
pause and love on myself. It just
Bring
feels so
yourself back
good.
to center a little bit.
Yes. Oh my gosh, so true. And then the lower back. I like to do, I tell clients like to pretend you're playing with a hula hoop. So just like little hip circles, because it's going to
Okay.
help loosen up your hips and like loosen up the low back and making sure like you're going both directions. And you'll
Okay.
notice one direction will be easier for you to like feel the movement. But then when you go the other way, like, okay, can you tell where my weak side is? Like I can't
Yeah.
go
That's a
from
really good
left to right.
point.
And that's just like a good mobility exercise to do because it's going to help you
Yeah.
get more flexible on both sides.
I
So
love
that's a
that.
fun low back one. That's probably like one of my favorite low back ones. And then if you're end of your day at home and you're wanting to wind down, giving yourself a hug the opposite way. So laying on your bed on the floor and bringing your knees to your chest and just
Yeah.
hugging them into. And again, gonna stretch that low back into that glute area for you, or just take that pressure off. Those would be my favorites.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, those are really good, guys. Just pause it, rewind,
Yes.
replay. And then are there any like workouts or activities or anything like that that like you would find that would be beneficial for kind of targeting those areas as far as strengthening and, making our bodies a little more prepared for the amount of work that we're putting on them?
Hmm. Walking overall is good. It's
Okay,
simple. It's
yeah.
really easy for you to do. Um,
Yeah.
I think using a oh my gosh, now you're really putting me on the spot. Let's see. I never underestimate the power of a yoga strap or a what is it called now? Could work out like the elastic bands where you like
Yeah.
loop them on something and create your own
Hmm.
resistance.
Yeah,
A
like a
good one.
resistant band.
Yeah, there we go. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
With that resistance band, because you could put it in front of you, hold it, so that it's together, and then just pull one arm out and come back in. And just, you can either do like a set of 10 on one side and then switch to the other, or you can just go one, center, other side, center. And that's good because those resistance bands, you can get them at different levels and like
Yes.
different levels of resistance. And even if you don't have those, like using your own body weight as resistance, because like, okay, let me just go slow here. Okay, bringing it out, and then let me bring it back in. Like, never underestimate your body weight either. That is a great
Yeah,
tool to use when you're
that's a really
exercising.
great point.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've heard over the years like Pilates is like another one that could be really beneficial. Have you tried Pilates or do you have any opinions on that?
I have done bar, which is
Okay.
kind of like Pilates,
Uh-huh.
and that was killer. So yes, it was. I mean, it was. I loved it because again, you're using your body weight. But I was just like, oh my gosh, some of these moves are like super intense. Um,
Yeah.
and it just kind of really depends, like what you're going for. Like if you're wanting to get muscular, I mean, granted, you can build muscle with Pilates and with bar,
Yeah.
but heavier
Absolutely.
weights are always good because we're going to build that muscle tone that's good for our bones. So as we
Hmm.
age, it doesn't help. It helps with that bone density and that breaking down of our bones. But Pilates and bar, yes, highly recommend.
Love that. I love that. And that's a really good point. I didn't even think about just like muscle tone in general, just like building that up because that's obviously super important for our
Yes,
muscles. And I didn't even think about the bone element as well.
right.
As far as like anything, how would I put this? Like, not necessarily like nutritional diet wise, but like nutritional elements that we can support our muscles in our bodies.
Hmm. That's a good question. I kind of so I have kids now, and
Ooh.
we don't say something's going to make you fat It's too many
Yes.
calories. It's any of this. So we talk about go slow and whoa. Go are those foods that like eat them all the time. Your fruits, your vegetables, good proteins, healthy fats. But we don't use the word fat in our house in any way.
Yeah,
Those are
I
our
love
go
that.
foods. Our whoa foods are like, okay, maybe they're not the best for us. We can eat them, but like in limited amounts. And then our stop foods are like, really, really don't want to eat any of those. And that's kind of like how, in my adult
Mhm.
years, how I've kind of gone with my nutrition. I know proteins are good for building muscle. So I tend to focus a little more on proteins, but I don't hate following specific diets and rules and guidelines. Like I'm going to eat what makes me feel good. And sometimes I'll eat foods that I will
Yeah,
regret later, but I was in a mood and I wanted to wanted to have them. Um, so I think we just have to be
absolutely.
mindful of like when we eat something, how is it making our body feel? And then if you do have those long-term goals
Mhm.
of like really wanting to build muscle, lean muscle, like looking into our proteins and things like that, that will help build leaner, healthier muscles in that sense. But I just, I like food and I'm
Absolutely.
going to eat what I want to eat. So,
Yeah. I think that's fair. I think that like mental health and health are so under the same umbrella, and I think that diet culture can be so negative and it's such a fine line of trying to make sure that you're taking care of yourself but not limiting yourself so much that you're really truly not taking care of yourself at that point. And I
yeah.
think that we get pressed so much for um going to the extreme instead of moderation. I think everything in moderation for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I sent you email before our call and I asked you a few
Yes.
different questions and I kind of wanted to get into those. So I'll let you kind of pick which one you want to start. They're not really in any in particular order.
Um, I'll go with my 2024 word of the year for my business, and it's growth. I know that sounds
Ooh,
like
I love
so
that.
basic, but
Not
it's
at all.
growth
No.
in like growing my business, right? There's like some big long term goals I have for my business, but then also growth in my mindset. Because before
Ooh, I
I
like
would
that.
let, when something didn't go my way or I wasn't able to meet my goal for the month or some type of roadblock came up, I would just, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening. This means that I'm never going to achieve my goal and just like go this downward spiral. But now I'm
Yes.
like, okay, that really sucked, but am I going to let it stop what I am trying to do, or if am I going to take it as like, all right, this is a stepping stone that's going to get me to where I need to go. Yes, we're off track for a little bit, but like we got to keep going. Everything's for our growth. Everything's for our growth. So
Yeah.
that's really helped me this year because
Yeah.
it's yeah, helping me stay focused on what I want to accomplish by the end of the year.
Well, and I love that, like you said, like growth kind of falls into several categories. It's not necessarily just growing the business. And even if it is just growing the business, that falls under its own several sets of categories,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
And I think always bringing it back to that is a nice way to stay grounded and on track. Because I think that with any small business, emotion gets into it, which can be really tricky and
Yes.
hard. So it's
Yes.
kind of nice as long as you're seeing some sort of uptick, whether it be numbers or income or social media or clients in the door, whatever the situation is. I think as long as we can circle back to like, are we growing in any way, shape, or form? Yes, then we're still on
Yes.
track for the year, which I like a
Mm-hmm.
lot.
Hey, it's Emily here from Brow Fox Beauty. I'm so proud to be sponsoring this episode of Brow Education. If you are new here, let me tell you a little bit about Brow Fox Beauty. We are a professional brow line for the esthetician. We specialize in easy retail for the busy esthetician. We also have a line of better back bar basics so you can be super confident putting pre and post wax solution and massage oil onto your client's skin, giving them the best glow and the best brows yet. You can find more information at browfoxbeauty.com or on social media at browfoxbeauty.
In any way, shape, or form, yes, then we're still on
Yes.
track for the year, which I like a
Mm-hmm.
lot.
Yeah.
I love that.
Totally. Okay. Best piece of advice I would give to my younger self: you do not have to be perfect.
Oh, I love
I
that.
I was a perfectionist in the sense of I wanted to make sure everyone was happy with things that I did and choices that I made. And all that did was cause me stress and anxiety when I did not need to be having those feelings and emotions. And I really do. I look back and I'd be like, oh, I feel I would have made different choices in my younger years had I not been trying to be perfect and meet the expectations of others. So that's
Absolutely,
what,
because you get so distracted by other people's opinions and standards and everything like that. But I
Mhm.
think, because I feel like it falls into that like people pleaser category of we're just like, what do I even want? Because the longer you're in that realm, the harder and further you get from yourself and your own like personal goals and kind of like what you even want. And I think we have like a societal standard of perfection, and I think that it's kind of unattainable, and yet we are all trying to strive for it instead of just finding like what works for us and what we should find. I think it's like the same with success. Success has its own, it's not linear, and it's,
yeah,
all over the chart as far as what you want to claim and consider as success. And I think that perfectionism is a very tricky one. I know in the brow world we experience it pretty heavily.
yeah,
But I think it's just something that's super unattainable. And I love the idea of I would absolutely go back and tell myself the same thing, that like
yeah.
anyone else's version of perfection is not as important as your own.
Oh, totally. And that's like what I, with my daughter now, we're entering those teen years. It's like, dad and I, we have no expectations. Like, okay, yes, we want you to get good grades and we want you to try your best, but like,
Yeah.
they're minimal. We don't expect you to get straight A's in school. If you do and you want to put in that work, awesome, like more power to you. But we're gonna be okay as long as you tried your best. Like
Yes.
that's all we want from you. And like I was a people pleaser. I was in my 30s and I was no. Like
And I think as
no.
women, we inherently tend to do that. I think women have
Yes.
this extra level of pressure to remain on that straight and narrow path of whatever perfection is, whether it's your body or your profession or motherhood or, anything
Mhm.
like that, whether, trying to balance it all. You being a small business owner is already difficult enough, let alone adding motherhood to it. Like those are both
Yeah.
very large things to have on your plate, and then you're also a wife and you're trying to participate in that level of your life and keep that partnership alive. It's a lot of different things to juggle, and I think trying to overall be perfect on top of just trying to do your best at all of those is just so unachievable.
Yeah. And I think putting boundaries in place and like learning to say no was the best thing for me. And
Yeah.
some people are like, "Oh, you've changed, you're different." And I'm like, "No, no, no. I have boundaries now." That's the thing that's
Hmm.
different. Like I'm not doing everything you want me to. That's the
Yes,
difference.
I'm not meeting your needs anymore. I'm meeting my own.
Right.
And if that doesn't work for you,
It's
it's probably
me.
because it was something negative that you were doing. And this boundary is now in
Yes.
place for. So true. It's a hard one. It's a hard one to uphold.
Yeah. And then my 3 favorite products would be an essential oil nasal diffuser that I love
Ooh.
using when I use the infrared sauna here at work very often. And so I'll use one of those and just like help me relax. Or even if like I feel a cold coming on, I have one that's like immunity boost to keep all those germs away. I'll use that one. So that's one of my
Yeah.
favorites. Um,
What do those
the
look
yoga.
like? I don't think I'm familiar with those.
So they look like what is it? A septum piercing? Like it's a half circle that
Oh,
has like
okay.
little nodules on the end, and you literally just like boop, slip it up your nostrils. It's
Oh, okay.
clear, you can't see it. And then they're reusable, which is really nice. Like it has a sealable pouch, so you can
Oh,
take it,
that's really
put it back
cool.
in. Yeah. And then even if you wanted to do like your own essential oil mix, you could like rinse it off, rinse the pouch out, whatever scent combo you want in there, put in there, let it sit, and then you have your own customizable nasal diffuser. It's really nice.
That is super neat. What's your
Uh,
favorite scent of that?
Eucalyptus.
That's probably hard.
Yeah,
Ooh,
I
I
really like.
love eucalyptus. Those are like my
Yeah,
favorite
it's
shower like steamer things. They're so good.
yes, yeah. I just always love. I don't know. That's just like one of my favorite scents overall. So eucalyptus is
Yeah.
definitely my go-to with that. And the
I
other
love
one
it.
is a yoga strap. I use that to help
Ooh.
me stretch every day. Um, and
Okay.
it's something that's like really portable too, because you can like wrap it up and take it with you if you needed to. Um, especially because like I have some knee problems and they've kind of been acting up some more recently. So I just use my strap to help stretch my leg, and it feels really good. And if you're one that's trying to increase your flexibility, I feel that that is a good tool to help you as well, because you can pull, especially like your lower body, into put a bigger stretch in there to help increase that range of motion for yourself.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Um,
That's super smart.
yeah. And then a new essential oil I have called Head Soothing, which is for headache relief. Um, I
Oh, tell me
don't,
more.
it is so nice. I don't get a lot of headaches, but when I do, I don't want to be taking Tylenol. I don't want to have to like depend on any type of medication. If I
Absolutely.
do end up taking anything over the counter, my husband's like, oh, that's like a big
Yeah.
headache, right?
I
It's
think
like,
that's a
yes, it
telltale
is not
sign.
going away. Um, but so yeah, and so it's just an essential oil I use. I'll mix it with like a lotion or a cream and just massage it into my neck. Just like put it in my hand and just take like a whole bunch of deep breaths, just working it into my muscles where I can feel my headaches tend to start like in my traps and go up. So I just like
Hmm.
focus on these muscular areas to help work all that tension out. Um,
Oh, it's so
and again,
smart.
it's just one of those things. It smells so good. Like I I yes, am a very body work focused massage therapist, but I'm a sucker for essential oils too. I just love scents, like smells. I feel just like do certain things for like our body and for our memories and like take us to happy
Absolutely.
places. And so yeah, I'm a
Hmm.
fan
Well, I
of
mean,
essential
look
oils.
at COVID. When we started losing our sense of smell and taste, we all lost our minds. Like, it's obviously such a prevalent part of our just bodies and like how we experience life.
Totally. Yeah.
So, where do you
Um
source that one? That sounds incredible.
so I get it through a company called Simply Earth, and they are actually
Okay.
there are so many essential oil companies out there, right? And I was like, well, how do I know which one
There
I want to
are.
use? And there's some of them are like super higher price and all these things. And so I think
Hmm.
I came across them like a Facebook ad. And they have Facebook. I mean, gosh, sometimes I'm like, should I do Facebook ads? I don't know. We'll see. Um, so they are highly sourced essential oils, but they sell them at a reasonable price. Like you're not paying $25 for a lavender essential oil. It's like $14.
Yeah.
Then the thing that's nice about their company is 13% of their profits they give to organizations that are helping. They're giving to organizations that help fight human trafficking. And like you can go to their
Oh my God,
website
that's
and
incredible.
right, and they have on their website it lists like the organizations that they partner with and they give money to. And
Oh, I
so
love that.
I yeah, and then I they do a really good job of educating people that are using essential oils. Because when I was in
I think that's
school,
really
like
smart.
yes, like we talked about essential oils, but we didn't talk about dilution or contraindications with essential oils or, can you use this oil on a kid? Can you not? So every product that I wish I had one close, but I don't. But all their products tell you how to dilute it and if
Oh,
there's any contraindications. And yeah, it's
that's
a really
brilliant.
good. Yeah, I really like it. Um, I just
I'll make sure to
I
tag that in
became
the
yeah
show notes, guys.
I'm I'm an ambassador for them, so
Yay! Yes!
I just
Plug
I
it.
really yeah, I'll give you that. I just really liked what their company stood for, and so I feel good about it. And they have like little kits that they have monthly subscription kits or like single kits that you can get. They have recipe cards. It just I
Really
really like
cool.
everything about their company. Yeah.
I love a company that supports its consumer or customer in more ways than just their product. Like, especially with
Yes.
essential oils that I don't think are talked about enough, and like the contraindications and things like that. I feel like people just kind of buy them and throw them on themselves without any like any know-how whatsoever. So them doing that extra level of care is really, really cool and honestly rare for companies. So I love that.
No, it's so true because like I mean lavender, right? Like that's the only one I ever really felt comfortable using with clients is like
Yeah.
because almost everyone can use lavender. So that's what I go to.
Hmm.
But now I'm like, oh, here are these blends that this company has. They're actually really good blends. And here they're telling me how to use it so I don't hurt someone in using the essential oil. Because
Hmm.
if you use them wrong, like there is potential for harm. You have to have some education or some knowledge
Absolutely.
when you're working with essential oils.
100%. I know them being like targeted for just a consumer is kind of scary because of that. Like it's crazy that I mean at this day and age everything's something that you can buy online. So it's nice that there are
Right.
places that try to act at that little extra barrier of like this is how you're supposed to use it.
Yeah, totally. Um,
Now, if an
so
esthetician or someone as a beauty professional, oh sorry, go ahead. I just cut you off.
no, I was just gonna say your fourth question. I didn't really feel applied to me, so I didn't answer it.
Yes, yes. Oh,
Oh no, I couldn't.
I love that.
I was like, yeah, I don't think that.
Like
So,
pass.
but go ahead. What were
I
you gonna
love it.
ask?
Well, a different question instead of that one. If a beauty professional or another esthetician, brow artist, whatever, is somebody who hasn't met a or found a massage therapist that they can work with or bodywork professional, what are some things that they should be looking for when they are kind of in the market and searching?
Really good question. I think word of mouth, like go to your other friends that are in the same service industry as you to see if they have someone that they go to for their personal body work. Every massage therapist is different. We all have our own approach. We all have our own touch. Um, Sometimes you may just like not energetically sync with the massage therapist that you go to. Like
Hmm.
that's important too. So definitely ask your friends if they know someone. If they don't, then visit, Instagram, searching massage therapists on Google in your area and go to their websites and or go to their social media pages and see if anything that they're sharing there kind of vibes with what you're looking for when it comes to a massage therapist. Don't be afraid to email them, send them a DM, and ask them specific questions too, because a good massage therapist is going to one answer the questions for you and give you an honest answer if they feel that they can give you those results that you are looking for. I've told people no before
Yeah.
that they're asking for something specific and it's like that's not in my wheelhouse, but here's someone that could help you with that. um, Referrals, Google, social media searches, asking a massage therapist that you come across a question, and then sometimes like just going in and
Yeah.
taking a chance because you don't know. Like you can only, gain so much from seeing something on the internet or social
Hmm.
media. And so sometimes you just have to go in and see. And again, when you come to that step of, okay, now you've scheduled the massage, you're going to go in there, get that body work done. Are they listening to you? What work you're wanting on your body? Are they educating you? Because example, even though you're saying your shoulder hurts, I tell clients a lot of times it's coming from your pecs. So this is what we're going to do. Like, are they explaining their process to you? Um,
Mm.
and then are they, let's see, if they're listening to you, explaining things to you, and if you feel that they're like present during your massage.
That's a
Be-
really good one.
yeah, because I've definitely had massages where I'm like, I don't feel that like the massage therapist is completely focused on what's going on
Yeah.
right now. And so because you as the client, that should be your massage therapist's priority.
Hmm.
And so I know anytime I walk through my door and come into my room that like this is where my attention is on my client. So you want to make sure that they feel present during that massage. Um, then after the massage, again, that you feel like they're doing a good job explaining that plan of care to you.
Yeah.
I If a client needs to come in every 2 weeks, I tell them it would be beneficial for you to come every 2 weeks. And here's my list of reasons why. If they
Hmm.
need to come just once a month, that's what I'm going to tell them. I've had clients, oh, I don't need to come in more frequently. No, like you're tight, your muscles, there's certain areas, but like you're not my worst case scenario. Like you're good just coming in once a month. So I think those are really important things to consider when looking for a massage therapist.
I love that. I think that's so important, and you're absolutely right. I've gotten, massage from other people and you and all across the board, and I 100% know what you mean by lack of presence. And I feel like in the service industry, there's a lot of that. And I think that being able to kind of check yourself at the door and be focused on the person, especially when you're working on somebody and they have expectations of when they're going to walk out that door at the end of their treatment, I think it's really important to be present. Absolutely.
Totally.
I love that. This was such a fun chat. I feel like I learned so much about everything, and I'm so excited to share this with other beauty professionals. And I need to get back in and see you soon. Like my body's feeling as we talk about everything. I'm like, 'tis the season, gotta get back into it.
Right? Yeah.
And just a reminder to anyone in the beauty industry, make time for your body appointments just like you do any other appointment. I think our bodies tend to be at the back burner.
Totally. And my philosophy is every body, not everybody, but every body deserves a massage.
Yes, I completely agree. I love that. Is there anything else you want to discuss or talk about really quickly before we wrap it up?
I don't think so. I would say if you have never gotten a massage because you're nervous or whatever, just go out there and just do it. You'll find some things you like about it and probably some things that you hate about it. But the more you do it, the more comfortable you will get with it. You will become with it, and your body overall will appreciate it.
I totally agree with that. I remember going to my first one and being really nervous and then being like, oh, wasn't that bad? That actually was really nice. I think there's just the level of discomfort when you're like almost nude in front of somebody, like even though obviously you're covered and you're under the sheet and everything, like you're not, but you kind of feel very vulnerable in that sense.
Oh yeah,
so, like, totally
exactly. It is. It's a vulnerable thing.
Yeah, so worth it though. So
yes,
don't skip out just because you're nervous. She is so right.
Yes.
Just give it a try. Well, it was wonderful chatting with you, Elaine. I can't thank you enough for popping on, and a huge thank you from my audience as well. I will make sure to add all of her information, including that wonderful essential oil, in the show notes so you can find her and reach out if you have any other further questions. And I will catch you guys next week.